All right, we're going to go through the review for your test. Number 1 says Sally invested money in a savings account. The account balance can be represented by the function f of x equals 300 times 1.03 to the power of x, and x represents the years. So we're going to say first that this number right here is bigger than 1, which means it is exponential growth. The starting amount is always in front of the parentheses. So we're starting here with $300 in the savings account. And it's growing at a rate of 3%, which if we change that to a decimal, it's 0.03. And if we add it to 1, that's how you get 1.03. But really, you need to know that it's growth because it's bigger than 1, and we start with 300. Number 2. A farmer feeds a cow 3,200 milligrams of an antibiotic. Every hour, 35% of the drug breaks down in the cow's body. So it's breaking down. Which function can be used to determine the number of milligrams of the antibiotic that will be left in the cow's body after X years? All of these things tell me that we are decreasing the amount. Okay? So, exponential decay is what this one's talking about, which means I need to be subtracting something. So I'm going to get rid of my plus signs. And remember, my rate is 35%, which if we change that, it's 0.35. So I have to take away 0.35, so your answer here was A. Now, we are not going to figure out how many are left after 10 hours. We're going to write the equation another way. And that just simply means if I say 1 minus 0.35, that equals 0.65. And so my equation would be y equals 3,200 times 0.65 to the power of x. That 3,200 is your initial amount. I think I spelled that wrong. Initial amount. Your start, right? The 0.35 is your rate of decay. And then the y-intercept is 0, 3,200, because that's the starting point. It's the first number in the equation, okay, right here. Alright, so that's information on exponential functions. Remember, the other thing too is that, there's actually some more exponential functions. We'll talk about those in a minute. So number 3, now we're moving on to exponents. So your exponent rule. So here we multiply the big numbers and we add the little numbers. So 4 times 2 is 8. Then I add up my x's, and I have 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. And then I have my y's. And I have an invisible 1 plus 3 make 4. Number 4, parentheses on the outside, so we multiply exponents. Remember, there's an invisible 1 on that 4, so it's 4 to the 3rd power, a to the 15th, b to the 21st. And then if you type in 4 to the 3rd power, you would get 64. And if you're not sure how to type that in the calculator, quick look here. We're on a calculator page. 4 raised, there's your exponent key to the 3rd power, gives you 64. All right, number 5, we divide the big numbers and we subtract the little numbers. And we always do top minus bottom. So if I divide, I get 3. And then if I subtract, I have negative 2 minus 7, which gives me a to the negative 9th. And then I do my b's, and I have 9 minus negative 9. which becomes positive 18. And then my c's, I have 3 minus negative 5, which becomes 8. And then reminder that the negative exponent moves to the bottom. So on the top I have 3b to the 18th, c to the 8th. On the bottom I have a to the 9th. Number 12, we have a combination of multiplying. So these two get multiplied. So I have x to the 17th times x to the 36th. And then we add the exponents. So I have 17 plus 36, which gives you 53. So multiply, then add. Okay? All right. Number 7, multiplying exponents. So I have x to the 5th, y to the 10th, and z to the negative 15. So that 5 went to everything, and there was a 1 on that x. And here we can put the positives on top and the negatives on the bottom, and they become positive. All right, number 8, divide the big numbers. We get 3. Subtract the little numbers. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. And that's all we're doing. Number 9, we're multiplying the big numbers, so I get 12. I'm adding the little numbers. I have 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And then I have 2 and negative 7. That gives me negative 5. And again, we rewrite it, 12x to the 8th over y to the 5th. And then the last one is, again, reminding you to multiply exponents. There's an invisible 1 on that 3. So I have 3 to the 3rd power, x to the negative 12, y to the negative 15, and z to the 21. 3 to the 3rd power is 27. And so I'm going to rewrite this. I have 27 and z to the 21 on top. On the bottom goes my x and my y. Okay. Number 11. Which equation best matches the graph below? And I need you to remember that this first number is your start, and this is your rate. And here my graph starts at 3. So I need an equation that also starts at 3. And then my graph is a growth graph. It is going up. And this one is decay, which means C has to be my answer. Process of elimination. All right, number 12. Which equation best matches the graph below? Again, it's about where are you starting. Here we're starting at 2, and it's a decay equation or graph. So this is growth, this is growth, and then it has to start at 2, which means the only option here is B. Okay, number 13. You are writing a sequence, or writing the first 4 terms of the sequence. And so remember that A sub 1 is your start. So I start with 2. And this part right here means we are multiplying by 7 every time. So 2 times 7 is 14. And then 14 times 7 is 98. And then 98 times 7 is 686. So we start with 2 and we're multiplying by 7. All right, number 14. In an arithmetic sequence, a sub 2 is negative 23. So if I were to make a table, the second term is negative 23, and the ninth term is negative 58. What is the formula for this sequence? Well, first I want to see here, I am decreasing. So if I'm going down, that means I need something happening that's also going down. So that's positive, and that's positive, which means those two aren't my answer. And of the two that are left, we're going to go to a graph page on our calculator. So we are going to just start typing right there. We don't use n, we use x, so negative 5x minus 13. And then we press menu 5-1, and we're going to type in 2 and see that it gives us negative 23. And if I were to type in 9, it gives us negative 58, which means that B is our answer. If I were to have typed in letter D, it says negative 5x minus 23, and then I do my menu 5-1, type in 2, it does not give me the correct answer. Right? So we're using our calculator on these last two. All right, number 15. For this arithmetic sequence, make a table and decide which is the correct equation. So remember, when you're given a sequence, it goes in order. The first term is 8. The second term is 7.3. The third term is 6.6, and the fourth term is 5.9. And again, I would have you look, what's happening? Is it going up or is it going down? And here, again, this one is also decreasing, which means I need a negative slope. So these two are out. And of the two that are left, we would just go to our graph page. I'm going to do Control Doc, add a new graph page. And I'm going to type right there, f of x equals negative 0.7x plus 8. Menu 5-1. And I want to know what the first term is. And the first term is 7.3 according to this graph, which means A is not my answer. So I'm going to cross off A. And that automatically means B is my answer, but to show you, we would just go type it in. So Control Doc, add a new graph page, negative 0.7x plus 8.7. Menu 5-1 and type in 1. 1 goes to 8, 2 to 7.3, 3 to 6.6, and 4 to 5.9. So just confirming that that is your answer.